What do you see as your ward's major challenges and assets?
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Thank you all again for coming out tonight. Is that better? The major challenge in Ward 1, without question, from walking the ward and talking to the residents of Ward 1, is the condition of our roads. That's been the question or the concern that's been conveyed to me. And our roads are bad. Then the question comes, what can you do to fix them? And fixing roads takes a lot of money. Each ward, I believe every 2 years, is allocated approximately $250,000 for improvements and overlay. It's obviously not enough. So the next thing is, well, where do we get these funds? One way I would like to look at, one avenue is grants, federal and state grants. There's actually Ward 1 has a federal grant that's been submitted, and we are waiting, hopefully that will be approved, and then that money then will be used to improve the roads even further. But I'm afraid that still won't be enough. So another option is to increase tax revenues. And that way we can increase the funds that come that every 2 years. Just to be clear, I said tax revenues, not tax rates. Big difference. Tax revenues, the only way those can be increased is by purchasing more services and goods in Eunice. I know it's an old cliche, but buy local. But as a person who runs a business in Eunice, it counts, it matters, it helps. We always hear, let's build the economy. Well, it starts by buying your services and goods here in Eunice. You need a washer and dryer or a refrigerator, set of tires, drive to Lafayette, save you a few bucks. But then Lafayette gets that tax revenue, and Lafayette fixes their roads. So, I understand everything can't be bought in Eunice. Sometimes there's some things that, I'm the first one to tell you, I'll shop around. But it comes down to choices, if I can save 20 bucks, but not have to drive to Lake Charles or Lafayette and buy that item, the product, I'd rather buy it in Eunice, support the local businesses, and make the economy grow. I appreciate it. I know everybody's asked y'all to go out and vote on November 4th. I'd like to take that a step further. On November 4th, that whole day, when you're walking around, everybody you see, ask them if they went and vote. Just, did you go vote today? You'd be surprised how many people say, God, dog, no, I didn't. And if we all do that, another 100 people vote. So thank y'all. Appreciate it.
What do you see as the most needed improvement in your ward, and what would you do to try to change it?
Well, good evening, everybody, and I thank everyone for coming out tonight to let us talk to you a little bit about what it is we want to do. And I think as far as the most needed improvement in our ward, I think that's fairly easy. I think, first of all, that the mayor and the city council right now has done a fantastic job saving money for the city, putting things aside for us to be able to use to better our community. Now, in my background in education, I can tell you that my first and foremost priority in our city is our children. And I believe that if we make a good environment for our children to grow up in, they'll want to stay in Eunice, they'll want to raise a family here just as we do, okay? The major improvement that I would like to make in our ward, we have a field over at Harris Field in the Harris Addition. Playground equipment's old, dilapidated, broken down. Kids can't really do anything there. They have to go across town to Circle Park or one of the other parks in town. When just down the block, there's a park there for them to use. And along with that great job of saving money that the city council and the mayor has done right now, we have almost $200,000 this past year, if you look at the city budget, that was left over in the recreation department's budget. I believe we can take just a little bit of that money and make so many improvements to that park. Because anybody here, all the school board candidates that are here can tell you that if you focus first on children, and if you focus on their emotional needs and what they truly need, they need to feel as if they're a part of something. They need to feel as if this is their home, that this is their community, this is where they want to grow up. If you can make them feel that way, then it'll make for better citizens down the road. It'll help Eunice to grow down the road even more, so make strides that we can't even imagine yet. And I think we can take just a little bit of that money and put it toward not only our children, but we could also use it to make some improvements to the drainage in town as well. And that's something else I'd like to address, hopefully, with the civil engineers of the city, try and formulate a plan with a lot of the drainage problems we've been having in our ward as well. Looks like my time's running out, but I'd like to thank y'all again. And like Jason said, ask everyone you know to go out and vote on November 4th and make sure that you make an informed decision. That's why you're all here tonight. And I ask that you please vote for me, Jeremy Artigo, number 180, for City Council Ward 1. Thank you.
A constituent calls you and says that there are people speeding on their street and proposes a solution to solve the problem. How would you address this constituent's concern?
I'd like to thank the sponsor of this forum for putting it on for us, to give the public an opportunity to look at the candidate, to evaluate the candidate, evaluate the qualification. I'm an educator, 34 years, taught school 14 years in Eunice. I've been an administrator, it's 20 years. So to answer your question, take the information that's given to me, evaluate it, and go to use the proper protocol, the proper procedure to get that information and to get the job done. Ward to Mr. Jeremy Artigo alluded to some of the problems in Ward 1. There's a lot of problems in Ward 1. There's a lot of problems in the city. To get things done, to bring Eunice back like it was several years ago. Number one, we need to restore pride into the city. If you restore pride, then everything else is going to fall in place. One of the things that I've witnessed going through the ward, drainage problem in certain area of Ward 1, a lot of grass all over the place. The city employees need to be held accountable. They're getting paid like everybody else to do a job. And from my observation, the job that they are paid to do, they're not fulfilling their obligation. If you, not only in Ward 1, but if you go throughout the city, as tall grass is all over the place. If we bring pride to Eunice, then that in itself is going to take its place. There's a lot that we can do for Ward 1. Like Mr. Jason said, some of the roads need to be resurfaced, but it takes dollars for that. And a lot of places that I've gone to, there's a drainage problem. The city employees need to clean the ditches where the water could drain. There's a lot of debris within the ditches that could be removed where the water could drain. Another thing, the culverts. If you have a driveway in front of your resident, and it has a buildup of water, that's where it's coming from. We need to clean the culverts to provide a passageway for the water to move. And with the proper guidance from those in charge, the street commissioner, you know, when you direct a person to do some things, it's good to give them instruction and directions to do the job, but you know what? You have to come back and check to make sure that the job is done. And if I'm elected as councilman for Ward 1, I promise answer all calls. No call is too small or too large. I will answer every call, and I will answer, and I'll be there for the constituent to Ward 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thibodeau. Ladies and gentlemen, the candidates for City Alderman, Ward 1. A round of applause.